What's the Satori? We're back.
Long time since the last one.
Yeah, we're back open close enough 4 months now. It's been such a whirlwind. We haven't got a chance to touch base with you guys and make a video, but here we go.
Yeah.
Bit to catch up on.
So we started with the 4 months ago, will we? The new building and opening up.
Yeah.
Because we done the old Satori rush again. We got the keys on the bank holiday Friday.
Yeah.
And we put the gym together, and with the help of everyone, we put the gym together and opened on the Tuesday was normal, wasn't it?
I think we opened on Monday.
Was it Monday night?
Yeah, we done some open on Monday night for the bank holiday. So yeah, it was a quick turnaround, but a huge amount of work went into getting it to that point. Yeah, it was some mess. But anyway, we went over that before, so we won't drag it up again. But thankfully, back open. So good to see everyone again. That's back.
Big time, man. Yeah. And back into the routine and training, because like when everyone came back, of course, most people had enrolled in the guts of whatever it was.
So
a long period of time. Like you'd really notice that some of the younger people in the gym came back adults. You know, the teens came back into the adults program.
Kimonos being like that much too short and stuff.
And they weren't going back into the teens program because they're 18 or 19 now. So yeah, no, things like that was just a bit of an evolution, and it's all settling back down now, and everyone's finding their rhythm, and training's better than ever.
Absolutely. And then of course there's a certain amount of people who, once they got out of the routine of training, they found it very hard to get back into it. So we're coming up towards the end of the year now. Maybe January would be a good time to, knuckle down and be like, oh, I'm starting back now.
And December is always a little bit quiet in gyms across, like it is. I know we had mad stuff this week with the weather warnings and stuff, and it's freezing. Well, it's not freezing; it's 6 degrees, but it's a lot colder than it was. So January everyone will be back in training. Yeah,
absolutely. It's just been getting back into the routine, like you were saying, hasn't it, since we got back open? Routine of training, routine of classes, all that side of things. So it's been busy out just doing that, and then there's been a load of competitions, like hopefully.
Yeah, we went flat out with I think the first competitions we were allowed run was the 26th of September, was it?
Yeah, it was something
so
like that, yeah.
We were open, and no, I think you were actually out running at the start of September, but we had them on around then anyway. But we got straight back in. We were only able to run 50 people tournaments.
Yeah.
It was smaller, and we just got them going straight back in. Then the MMA and the National MMA League was the same in the gym. We had one of them the following weekend. I think that was the last weekend of September, was it? In or around. There's been so much events, it's hard to pinpoint them.
Mm-hmm.
But and then that ran into the National MMA League last 2 weekends ago, which was very, very good. And then into the Dublin International Open this weekend gone, which we were lucky to be able to run. And
it was because there was the threat of more lockdowns or more restrictions was just always on the outside of it. So it was touch and go. Like, it was so difficult to get the insurance and the venue and stuff. We had to jump through a lot of hoops. It's great that we're able to run the events, but there's definitely twice as much work in actually setting them up and doing it as there was beforehand. But it can't be helped.
And twice as much, if not more, just pressure and unnecessary kind of, I don't know what, maybe it is necessary, but like stress on the overall event. Like, it takes so much focus to jump through all the hoops, as you were saying, and instead of concentrating on things you'd usually concentrate on, your attention is split now. So it was a very difficult event to run, but thank God it was a success, and thanks for everyone that helped out running it and helped out setting up and competed from the gym and from across the country, and some of the kids and some of the teens and adults that competed really well. Some of them got a little bit of stage fright, and then with the kids, 1 or 2, I was coaching, and they got it. And then I was just thinking, it's literally 2 years since they competed.
Yeah.
So like the lads that would have been competing and flying around the mats, they were a little bit slower than they usually were. But as I said, it's all shaping up to be good next year.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah. And the MMA was great to know. That was probably the biggest novice event ever in the country, was it?
Yeah, well,
I wouldn't be surprised if it was.
I think there was 80 bouts on the day.
Yeah, 110 fighters, was it, something like that?
Yeah, in around 110 fighters. I think there was 120 registered, but there's always a couple of guys that you just can't match. They can't go up or one or down division, and especially with the MMA, it's always the teens, and and younger kids, because we're running it from a younger age. Usually it's cadets, teenagers up, so we're running 6, 7, 8-year-olds. I think it's 8-year-olds plus, sorry. And it's just, yes, a lot of hands-on and making sure that they're all right. So yeah, it went really well and got really good feedback, and when's the next one, and we have all our events online now for the next 3 or 4 months of next year, so
yeah, they're all up on Smooth Comp, which is handy.
Should be set up to go.
Yeah, and then the Dublin Open, it was great being back there, because our first event that we ran when we started the club, 6 months later we ran our first event, and we just knew, because we've been around events so much, we knew that we always wanted to run one, because we were helping out at jiu-jitsu events in Ireland, and it was just so far from what we were used to seeing when we were competing in, like we competed in kickboxing. One of the biggest kickboxing competitions in the world is in Ireland. We used to help out working at that event, and then we competed across Europe and stuff as well in karate and kickboxing, and then we went to jiu-jitsu. It was so different, so it was great being back in the same place that we ran our first competition in, to see the difference in things over those 8 years. Like, it's such simple things, even just having medals that didn't have someone playing GAR or hurling on it, you know, bull pens, weigh-ins, like the kimonos being the right colours. And then
the kids divisions.
That's the other thing that I was forgetting. Some years, like, there literally was not a children's tournament on at that stage, until we started doing it, and then you started doing the children's league, giving them a chance to compete 5, 6 times a year. But before that, it just wasn't a thing. You know, it's bananas.
Yeah, and it is, and it really has paid off like we had planned. Like, I remember being in America that year, and we went down to watch the children's event, and the coaches were saying, yeah, we're competing in wrestling, we're competing in jiu-jitsu, all the parents were there, all the coaches were there, they all had the club t-shirts. It was a real kind of low pressure family team, everyone day out, and they just got them in if they're competing Saturday, Sunday. Didn't matter, they were going all over the country. Obviously they had a lot more events in America as well, and they had young kids with 2-3 years competition experience under them, doing an event every weekend, had hundreds of matches under the belt, and we're just like, hopefully we'll be able to recreate something similar one day. Absolutely. And we're getting there bit by bit.
Yeah, it's a huge change. Even just the first time we were running an event, like the strongman system, people won't even realise, but you know, the Smooth Comp app is so smooth compared to what it was before. Like, even just the difficulty to get a tournament to run on time, it was very rare for a tournament to run on time when we started, you know, and I mean on time, like they'd usually be out by at least an hour. So even before the Smooth Comp,
the norm was to be out by, and even going back further before strongman, like often, like,
on paper.
On paper, you see, like, you go down and you'd weigh in and you'd sign up, and the divisions be done. You might weigh in at 9 a.m. Will be weigh-ins 9 to 10 a.m. and you might fight at 6 p.m.
Yeah,
and that was the norm. Like, so
I was competing once in the Isle of Man in karate, and it was black belts are usually on first, so we went down for 8 o'clock to be ready to compete at 9. Fought at midnight. You know, and it was grand, because I was like, oh well, my opponent had to wait the same amount of time anyway, so
there was no real different. It was the norm. There wasn't different. So yeah, just to see the competitions developed so smoothly and professionally, and really trying to up them. And
the standard of the competitors as well.
Yeah, that was
and the coaches as well. It's all just on the up.
And even though a lot of people and all the clubs in Ireland took a hard whack, like, in over the last long period of time, with the COVID, the level of the blue belts, I thought particularly was really, really impressive. Like, developed games, coming straight out, no jitters, upside down most of the match, and knowing what they're doing. You know, it really has evolved. Really has evolved.
Yeah, and that's just what's going to continue to happen. Like, even with things being slowed down or disrupted a bit because of lockdowns and stuff, people not getting to train. Imagine what it's going to be like in another year or two when people got a good run of momentum again. It's going to be great. So it's just, it really hit home when we were in the same venue as back then, and we just got to see some of those differences between now and then. It was really
put in perspective.
Positive,
really. Yeah. And thanks very much again to Westminstown, the venue that had us in. They were so helpful through everything, and even the management came in on Sunday and were saying that we're lucky that we got the event out the door, because they had cancelled all the rest of the events for December, so we were finishing up with the last kind of event for the year. So once again, we were just so lucky with the way the whole tournament fell. Yeah,
we really were. Because that's it, there's so much going on behind the scenes sometimes, like,
it's
hard to get everything to line up, but it is nice when someone's easy to work with, like Westminster, because you'd be surprised how difficult some people are.
And supportive within the community, and they want to see it in their community, and
Yeah.
they're happy to have a new kind of sport, because that's more predominantly GAA club, rugby club, golf club, tennis club.
Yeah.
And they were very open-minded. Like, the staff were watching saying, "Just, this is brilliant." Like, and the kids going all the way through, and there's adults on later on, and the caretaker was popping in, and we were giving them a run commentary every now and again on what's happening, and it was just nice to, just a good vibe around the venue.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
That's it. The training's been going well as well. Then, just on another note, I was just noticing, even just this morning, we were doing a lot more people are down for the lunchtime training, which is great. And the standard, even though people are only back a couple of months, like the stuff that we've been working on is really starting to shine through. We've been doing a lot of fundamentals, and people's submission game has gone up a lot, and we're building a strong foundation for the future. So it's great to see, and the kids are coming along well as well, aren't they?
Yeah, and I think maybe a lot of people, like, off the back of us grading up again, they're I know you said, like, Taylor had sent you a message saying she's just mad. I can really see the progression. Like, we were all like blue belts, white belts when we started, and I think it's put a bit more fire under lads that maybe subconsciously, even they don't think about it that much, but they know that through hard work you'll progress, and they see the progression, and they feel that their progression, and just the confidence of the club will go up, rather than just maybe an individual competitor. So it's going really good.
Absolutely. And just on that point, that was a big thing that happened since we opened up. We went to America, so we were competing in America, and we finally got the.
We made it to America. Like, it was frustrating enough, because we were meant to go on November 19 and take part in competitions, and we just couldn't. And then the next thing
it got pushed back.
And then it was 2 years later almost. Like.
Because we would have been over there usually every summer and every winter. You do summer would be the kimono, winter would be nogi, and we've been over there competing 8 times or something like that.
And we were so busy in the past, still are obviously, but some summers and winters just kind of all morphed into the one. Like, you'd be going back and forth, and just time goes so fast. Like, and you'd be thankful that we got to get over all those times and compete.
Yeah, and this time it was the flights into America weren't allowed until the 8th of November, was it?
We flew on
so we were trying to prep for the comp and the lead up to it, and it was like, we don't even know if
your
we're going to be able to go.
Your flights got changed 4 times, wasn't it?
Yeah, my flights got cancelled and rebooked 4 times. Pat's ended up taking 40 something hours to get there.
Yeah, but sure.
Had to sleep on the concrete in New York.
Something always goes wrong, but maybe it's our own fault a bit as well.
Not really. You book a flight to America, next thing you know, it takes three and a half times as long to get there.
So we got there in the end, and got to compete, and I felt personally a little bit like I didn't have much competition jitters and stuff. I think I was so jet lag coming, because I landed on Tuesday after travelling for 40 hours, and then Wednesday, we competed Thursday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So we competed Thursday. Felt good going out onto the mats, felt fine, but then once the match started, I did feel a little second behind the pace, and ended up getting caught out in the first round. But I was talking to the guy after, as you would, like, at a lot of tournaments, and he was saying that he's been just training as normal for the last 2 years. He was prepping for the World Championships, and they kept getting pushed on, so his training has been as normal. And once he watched the rest of the division and watched what was happening around, it seemed like the countries that were not shut down for long periods with COVID were a little bit ahead, maybe.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. If you've been leading up to the competition for a year, one person got to do a year's training, one person got to do a third of a year's training. You just can't compete like for like. But even just that being said, it was great to even get to step out onto the mats, because it's been 2 years since we got to compete.
It was mad, lining up on the side of the mat and calling your name and going out and shaking hands. It's like the brain's relearning it or something. So it was good. So we get to compete loads now at the black belt next year.
Yeah, that's the thing. So it's a restart. It's a restart basically, and it'll take a while for us to get back up to the rhythm and the momentum that people that didn't have lockdowns are at. But once we do, we'll be fine. So it's just take a bit of work to get the speed back up. Then from there we drove up to San Fran, but it was 650 miles. I think it only looked small on the map, but
yeah, it was good though. It was really nice. Like, we drove through Yosemite Park and Death Valley and
Fire Valley.
We went through the desert more so terrain into a mountain terrain
into fog, it was
a fog.
Fog
That
for
was the mountains.
200 miles. Like you couldn't see more than 20 or 30 meters ahead of yourself. Like.
And then into the Yosemite, and then from Yosemite into San Francisco. So like it was interesting doing it. But once
Yeah,
you've
it was
done
an
it,
adventure,
it was an adventure. It was something that I'm very glad we've done. And then we were lucky enough to get to train with Tony Souza in Half Gracie, San Francisco. Some really good training. We got to train there. It's hard to put the days now, but the Wednesday was it?
Monday, Tuesday,
Wednesday.
Yeah.
And we got to see a bit of San Francisco, and then got to come home. So
Mm-hmm.
no, it was really it was a trip. It was a trip of a lifetime, I suppose. Like,
would you say so? Yeah.
I'm never gonna live that.
But the great thing is we get to go to America so much. Well, we haven't the last couple of years, but it's a great thing about the sport. Like once you get going and get up to a decent level, you get to go to so many places to compete. Like just before that, you were over at the British Open, weren't you?
Yeah, we didn't actually mention that. Yeah, Jacob, our good friend in Birmingham, was helping run the British Open and stuff like that, and we went over to compete. I was just after getting knee surgery, so I actually couldn't compete, so it was a little bit of a bummer. But Yanis and Matthew and Archie competed. Them three, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Yanis done really well, and then we got to talk to all the guys over there, see our connections again, and zip back. But I was even thinking that about the Dublin Open, that because one of the referees that was at the Dublin Open is actually working beside our gym now, so he's going to pop in for some daytime training, and then I have to drop the club trophies over to Team Rhino on Friday. Osmar brought the other team trophy back to George Santos. So like just into 1 week, where everyone we met at the competition on Saturday, Sunday, now Antonio's coming to train, and then we'll be popping over to Andy with the trophy. So just from one weekend, the connections you make, and just the more those weekends happen, it just keeps layering on top of layering, and then it's just good that you know everyone, and have trained with everyone, or exchange information with everyone, or whatever way.
Jiu-jitsu lifestyle.
That's what they say. Yeah, just missing the weather, man. Just the weather.
Give it a few years. Global warming will sort itself.
Hopefully.
That's pretty much it. So it's just real quick overcap of how things have been going. And it's like we said before, it's just great to be back.
Yeah.
Great to be back to some sort of normality. No, it's not 100% normal yet, but we're a lot more normal than we were 6 months ago.
And then upcoming is just, you're going to mention that, weren't you?
Yeah. Upcoming, we have the grading this Saturday, so kids and teens are on at their normal time. Adults is on at 12. It's going to be great just to see a lot of people together, because a lot of people are still like, their schedule is still a little bit up and down. They might be working shift 1 week and the hours change a lot more than they would have previously, or they might be working more or whatnot, but just a chance to see everyone there together, or as many people as can make it together. It will be great. And what else have we got upcoming? There's got a bunch of comps coming up next year. We're going to be running like the grassroots at the end of January. There's going to be the MMA leagues again. We've got the Cork International Open. So it's all just gradually starting to build up again. And of course, there's plenty of progress to be had on the mat. Yeah. Anyone who's getting to train consistently, even just twice a week, we're really noticing the progress. Yeah. So it's something that we've been working on a long time, and we're starting to see more and more.
Developing the right program, I suppose.
Yeah, we've been working on the program. Like I've been doing martial arts for 32 years now, and you're close enough 30 years as well. And a lot of that time we've been coaching ourselves. You started coaching children as a job over 10 years ago now, pretty much. And I've been coaching beginners, intermediate, and advanced classes. Like most days I'll teach 2 to 3 classes. Like, so we're putting a lot of work in on teaching classes, a lot of work in development. We're always upskilling as much as we can. Like we're asked over there with Tony, who's like the head coach, one of the head coach at Half Gracie, San Fran, one of the biggest clubs in the world. And we're checking with Jacob, who's a coach in Gracie Baja, Birmingham, and we're always getting information and trying to better our program. And it is getting better and better. And we're noticing the speed of progress of individuals is increasing also. I have other bits and pieces that I want to put into it at the moment. We're always working on it, so it's always improving. It's not the sort of thing where we just copy and pasted something we found on the internet and then that's what you do, hope for the best, and then
try it and test it.
You either get lucky and you get a freak athlete who comes in, or you end up poaching people from other clubs in order to pretend that you're successful. We're actually out there trying to create a program to develop people quickly and all the way up to black belt. So that's the progression path we have in place, and it's getting better and better and better. And you'll really see the fruits of that, 6-12 months down the line.
Yeah.
Which I'm looking forward to.
Fair play, yeah.
Oh, no, fair play,
Obviously.
Patsy. Jesus, Patsy doing a great job with the comms. It's not easy. So a lot of the stuff, like even just me trying to get insurance, I was on from 2 months out from the event. Constantly.
COVID has just literally changed everything, and then like the announcements came on Tuesday night, I believe.
No, it was
Monday.
there was meant to be Thursday. So our comp was on Saturday. The announcement was meant to be Thursday, and they made it Friday at like 4 o'clock or something like that.
And then they came in on the Monday and the Tuesday, the new regulations. Or whatever. If they hadn't made them on the Thursday, the event wouldn't have ran. So
I think we might, because
hanging over you.
We had it set up so our capacity, we set up the venue in such a way that we had a huge amount of spillover. If something happened, we had a contingency in place. We would have been able to adjust, depending on how severe the restrictions were, of course. But if you're after packing out your event, we already had it, no spectators and stuff. Like hopefully that doesn't last too much longer. But at the moment, as it stands, you're not allowed spectators at events. It's only seated, and it's only 50% capacity. So the amount of places that have enough seats even to run an event is very low. Yeah, well, the GA and stuff will, something like that. But I mean, jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu wise. But anyway, we'll keep plugging on.
Have a lovely Christmas. We'll be here. The Christmas schedule is up on the Facebook. The days we're open. It's more or less as normal as Jessica, the kid, said to me. We're only closed to special days. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good.
See you on the mats.
Usa.